Do you really think it's kind of possible? Why I'm asking that? Because I remember just not a long time ago when United States made its strikes on Iran bases. I've heard from some congressmen saying, we need an impeachment, we are done. And after Russian dictator and killer, terrorist coming to American soil and walking on the red carpet and shaking hands to the American president, nobody seems feel like terrified and angry. Maybe some, yes, but I'm talking about the Congress.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's actually possible, or it's just super naive to think that it's even a discussable question?
Okay, well, two thoughts on that. First, I agree with you that it was so weird to watch us just go, all right, well, they had that meeting, that was weird, and move on. In America, people I think they're just so numb to this type of stuff from Trump. So you're right, there wasn't the outrage that you would imagine if any other president did that and handled the meeting the way that Trump did. Some of my viewers and followers aren't going to like this response to the main part of your question. I would not hold your breath for an impeachment of Trump. Now, the good thing is come, November 2026, there's going to be an opportunity to take away a lot of his power by, Democrats hopefully sweeping the midterms for the House and Senate. But even so, in the Senate, you would need a super majority, and that's not going to happen. And Republicans are not going to ever betray Trump in large enough numbers. And so I don't like people, as much as it works on social media and stuff, who capitalize off of false hope. And I think giving people the false hope that Trump's going to be impeached and convicted and taken out of office before the end of his term is unrealistic. And we've seen that movie before. And I think there's just about anything Trump could do that Republicans would let him get away with. And so I think the priority and the hope that we should feel is kneecapping his administration in many ways by Congress actually wielding the power that it has, because Republicans have just given a blank check to Trump to do anything. And Democrats, if they had a majority in the House and Senate, could restrict a lot of that, but not impeachment. And then just whoever Trump's successor is, obviously he's doing the weird thing where he's saying, maybe I'll run for a third term. I don't think that's going to happen. And his successor needs to be defeated. Otherwise, we're going to keep dealing with this ideological problem in the Republican Party. But no, I don't think the path is impeachment, as much as I wish that it were.
Yeah, another controversial idea. Do you think Putin has some dirt on Trump?
I try to deal in evidence, and I've never seen credible evidence that he does. So as much as, again, his behavior would, like if you were to say, describe a US president who the Russian dictator had dirt on, you would describe all the stuff that Trump does. So I understand why people wonder that for sure. But I haven't seen compelling evidence. Doesn't mean it's not there, but I couldn't assert that.
Yeah, absolutely, because it seems like Donald Trump doesn't care about any dirt that people have on him, but still it somehow was such a big issue and everybody was talking about Epstein files and everything.
And so that's what's so disturbing, is that if Putin did have dirt and he released it, I don't think it would change Trump's support, which is horrific. I mean, there's audio of him saying the worst things. He was found liable in a civil trial for sexual abuse. All of the dirt that's normally on people is all public, and still he has the support that he does, which is tragic.
Yeah, and actually, final one. Trump has been in power for the second time for more than 200 days so far. And I've just opened the article where Americans themselves are asking, are they living in autocracy? It was just the name of the article. Probably I will put it here on the screen.
Okay.
So what is your perception of that? Do you feel it that way, or how do you see it?
I would say a lot of the democratic principles that defined America have deteriorated in many ways, but not in an unreversible fashion, and not, obviously we're talking about a spectrum between autocracy and democracy. I saw some study that studies this, and it's in this upcoming year, if things continue, we will go down a couple rungs. So we're definitely shifting in that direction. Now, a full-blown autocracy, no. I mean, we're talking about a little bit definitional questions, but definitely core democratic principles have been degraded. And I really worry if Trump's brand, it doesn't have to be him, but his brand of politics, if it's not taken out of power in this next presidential election.
That's a good one. That's a good point.
Then we're really looking at a 5-alarm fire.
Do you see any of this is coming, that this brand will hold for a long time? I mean,
I am an optimist, so no. I think people, especially because he's doing the scary part of American politics that I've learned, I understand it, but sometimes drives me crazy, is there can be a lot that someone like Trump does wrong, but if it doesn't impact people economically, then they're fine with it, which is why Trump got back into power, even as people forgot the damage he did in mishandling the pandemic. But this go-round, he's really making some horrible economic decisions. And I think that, and him pushing up prices with his tariff policy and his endless trade wars, I think that is going to be the nail in his political coffin and will cause a swing in the other direction. Now, will that type of politics immediately go away? No. But my hope is that we slowly push it out of relevance through continued defeats. But again, that's optimistic.
Yeah, you know, when I was for the first time in the United States, that was the election process, and there was Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
Wow.
And I remember that I was traveling all around the United States. There was some program, and I was traveling, and I visited 11 states, I guess. And we were talking as a journalist to people, asking what they want to change in the United States and for whom they're going to vote. Nobody said it's going to be Trump, well, except Florida. So basically, yeah. And what a surprise when I was going back home, he won the elections. And I like, okay. And I was in the flight with the Americans, and they were like, oh, we're so sick and tired of the system we had, medicine we had. And then they just appeared and becoming to speak loud. So that was my observation, that, you know, somehow people were hiding their true intentions, but then they were kind of I don't know, free to speak. Totally,
yeah. No, that's exactly the phenomenon. You nailed it. It was a little bit of guilt, a recognition that maybe he wasn't so great, but they still ended up voting for him. And then as the years progressed, they got more and more loud and proud about their views. But I mean, I would rather you be transparent about your views than hide them, because yeah, that was a huge surprise. Now, why we chose to, after we saw his first term, re-elect him, there are reasons like pandemic conditions causing people to be upset with the incumbent party, but it was discombobulating.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke, it's a huge honor for me to talk with you, and I really hope that you're going to bring your true messages about Russia's war in Ukraine. I really appreciate for that.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you.